Hi, and welcome to TV My Husband Hates. I'm Kat Sims.
And I'm Reagan Kempton.
And we are reality TV addicts.
Addicts, aficionados.
Ooh, I like that. Experts.
Experts.
Basically, we know our shit when it comes to reality TV.
100%. Hey guys, and welcome to the long-awaited Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion minisode. How you doing, Kat?
I'm good. I'm good. We've had our kids back at school for a week. I
Yay!
am on my first gin and tonic of the week, and it's Thursday.
Nice.
My
Like
first drink
that.
of the week. It's unheard of. But anyway, we're here, and I'm excited about this because I think that Salt Lake City was a show that started off with a lukewarm reception, but I feel like it ended on a high.
Yeah, and I was wondering because obviously, like, they filmed this way before coronavirus and all that kind of stuff. And then I think they held it back to like release at a different time. And I wonder if it almost kind of lost momentum because we heard about Salt Lake City at
ages ago.
2019's BravoCon is when they announced it. So I feel like it just kind of suffered from timing, probably more so than anything else. But I'm going to go on record. I'm totally watching next season. I'm excited about it. I thought this one ended pretty hardcore.
I agree. And I think that ratings went up, and I think overall reception was better. Andy seemed to imply that it had been a success. And I mean, I think you always have to give a new show in its first season a little bit of wriggle room to find its feet. And this is a show that came in with big characters on all sides. You know, like obviously there's the very obvious big characters of Jen, but kind of Mary's very big in herself, even though she didn't get much screen time.
Right.
Lisa really found her feet. Heather is a big character as well. So there's a lot to talk about.
Absolutely. A lot of personalities and things like that. So I think we're going to do something a little different on this minisode and just hit the people and then talk about the issues like that. I think that is a good way to handle a fucking massive 3-parter because I mean, this one I think is the longest reunion we've watched to date.
I'm so over 3-parters.
Me too.
And to be honest, I watched the first part because I was in a panic. Because I was in a panic to watch it. I actually watched the first part without taking notes, thinking, oh, I'll be fine. And then today I got the panic. I was like, oh shit, I should probably rewatch it and take notes. And actually, as I did, I was like, there's nothing really in this first episode.
No. It's like
really
all fluff, isn't it?
Touched on later. So I was like, can we just do 2-part reunions max?
Yeah. So editors at whatever production company does The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, I think I've totally forgotten the name. Let's edit it down. Talk Andy into only doing 2 because these ladies don't want to sit there for 12 hours too.
Well, and I mean, it looked like they had been there.
They were there fucking long time.
Andy Cohen looked bent. And the thing is that guy has to go back to a kid. Do you know what I mean? He must be exhausted. He wants a 2-part reunion. We want a 2-part reunion.
Let's make it happen. Shed media. Let's make that happen. Media. Shed media.
Quality, not quantity. Quality.
That's right. All right.
Anyway, let's start with Jen because how can we not?
Oh my gosh.
But let's start with what's happening off camera at the moment. Reagan I know, but Reagan has the full tea on it. Tell us about what has been going on since it wrapped.
Well, it's been this whole crazy back and forth. So audio was leaked of Jen fucking just verbally assaulting all people who have worked for her. And then especially the designers. So the guy who designed her outfit, Koa Johnson.
Something. We'll find out.
Yeah. Anyways, so kind of verbally berating him. He's the guy that designed her reunion look. He also did this like amazing Biden and Harris dress for her, like for the inauguration stuff. It was incredible. So anyways, apparently she was verbally berating him, yelling at a lot of her staff. And then he's kind of come out and said, well, she hasn't paid me. She hasn't, done all of this. She's horrific to work for. It's not worth it. Like the exposure you get for working for her is not near worth the fucking pain and suffering that you have to deal with her in her mouth. A lot of like assault threats, like I'll kick your ass, like just really nasty stuff. And then again, this week, stuff is now coming out that he has actually been defrauding people in Hawaii. Like, he moves around because he's been caught defrauding people. So who knows what like the real story
Well, let
is.
me tell you,
However,
we have receipts for Jen's behavior.
exactly, the
We don't have any
screaming.
receipts for Koa's behavior. It's awful. I was
This,
actually going to find it and see
oh,
if we could play it.
yeah. The screaming and yelling clips is just like, she just goes from like 0 to a million in like the drop of a hat. And I feel like she needs to go talk to somebody about the rage that bubbles below her surface.
Yeah, I mean, she is definitely unhinged in an angry way, right? It
Yes,
is rage. And I can see that. Like
for sure.
I have had those moments of rage. Maternal rage is a thing.
Yeah,
But to watch her do it in this is just awful. I'm
it's
trying to find the
insane.
audio and I can't find it because I should have lined that shit up earlier.
Yeah, it's super crazy. I don't understand them all. Let me see if I can
I think I know where you sent it to me. I think you sent it to me on Instagram.
I did.
But she what I find really interesting is that throughout this whole thing, I think we see, and we'll talk about this, we see her kind of apologize to a lot of people in a way that feels very genuine. But now that
Yeah.
I've heard this audio and seen these stories come out, I'm really glad, because I think I would have fallen for it. But now, absolutely not falling for it.
No, ultimately, I think Jen is a massive dickhead. And throughout this entire season, I've been sitting there being like, where's her 14-year-old kid?
Yeah,
Because like,
right?
she has a kid that should still be at home going to school. Now maybe he goes to boarding school or whatever. As we all know, Utah specializes in those.
Anybody catch our Paris Hilton minisode?
But like, I don't understand her family dynamic, her mothering style, or her work style. Like, she's almost a parody of herself, if that makes any sense.
Or her marriage dynamic as well, because
Oh,
like, as much as there's part of me that thinks Coach Shah and her have this kind of great connection, I think they do. I think like he
yeah.
is the Jen whisperer. It doesn't feel like a marriage of equality. It feels like a guru thing or a mentor thing or
Yeah,
some
for
sort of weird
sure.
daddy thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel comfortable. I've found the audio.
Okay, play it.
She says, and now it's just lost it.
But
Well,
yeah,
there was
I totally agree with you. It doesn't feel like a husband and wife relationship. It does feel kind of mentor mentee, kind of, very Nexium like quality to their relationship.
exact Nexium is exactly the word. So I've definitely got it now.
Okay.
We're not going to play all of it because it is like 3 minutes long,
Yeah,
but
that's
you
too
can
long.
find it. We'll put the Instagram account that has it in the group or on the Facebook
Yeah, let's
page.
do it on the
You can go
group for
and
sure.
do that there. So here we go. Let me scooch forward a bit.
I'll fucking do it. Okay? Because I'm the one leading. I'm the one that butt stops here. And that's it. And you can stop fucking smiling, bitch, and being a fucking bitch. Because you are. Yeah, you are. And Koa handle this shit.
Koa, that's the
Yeah.
designer.
Not let it. You fucking handle it. Fucking don't have a fucking attitude with me. I'm fucking going to reunion this week. Shut the fuck up. Okay. No, you want to shut the fuck up. Get the fuck out. I'm tired.
Oh my.
Just to let you know, to put this in context, Coach Shah is here at this time. I'm watching the video, and although I can't see him now, oh, she's just thrown some shit. We'll leave it there. We'll put the link for you to watch that in the group. So if you're not
Yeah.
already part of the group on Facebook, go and join the group. That's where we put the juicy shit.
And just FYI, it is a private account, so you'll have to like request to follow it, and then they'll allow you to follow back because they want to be able to keep it up.
She does let you follow though.
Yeah.
But it has brought to light that Jen has very serious issues. Now, are these issues that have emerged since the death of her father and
Right.
whatever else has gone on since then, I don't know, because we didn't know her before. But it'd be so interesting because Coach Shah, we see in the video, that video of her abusing her staff, doesn't step in, doesn't pull her aside, lets her fly. And as I say, it's 3 minutes. He just lets her go for it.
Yeah, I wonder what, I mean, maybe that's the way he has to deal with her. Like she has to scream it all out before she's willing to listen. I don't know. But what I find kind of most shocking with her is how she picks and chooses like who she verbally berates, because we've got Heather, who's been her friend for ages, who quite frankly, she treats like shit the entire season. But like Lisa doesn't ever really get the brunt of the Jen.
Well, this is when
neither
I think
does Meredith.
This is when I think Heather's insecurities about Jen wanting to level up, as she says, has a point, or trade up, I think she says.
Right.
I think she's right. I think Jen's very concerned with, you know, being in with those very classy people. And like, listen, as much as I don't love Lisa, and I actually warmed to Meredith a little bit more in this reunion than I had done during the show.
Well, because she finally fucking stood up for herself and like had a backbone. Anyways,
right. But there's an element of there's an element of Lisa and Meredith that in those kind of social echelons does seem to be a little bit above somebody like Jen, who just seems to try too hard.
Yeah, I think for sure. I mean, she reminds me a lot of Ramona and like the social climber, thirst is real kind of way. And it's just very off-putting. Like, honestly, if you were probably just yourself, you'd make friends with these people anyways, because like you have the money. Like that's not in, you know, question or anything like that. But like you just try so hard and then you're so fucking nasty to people. Like that's not
really
cool.
Cruel. Really cruel. Not just like I'm going to be a bit of a bitch and a shit stirrer. Like vicious.
Yeah. Incredibly biting. Incredibly hurtful to people, and then like the people she's hurting are like puppies. Like,
yeah. And I think it was interesting for me to understand that she is actually in the business world kind of a badass. Like she has this company that does algorithm. I mean, you know, she's a smart techie shit. And a woman in tech is always somebody who I want to like hold up and go, but you can't behave like that.
No.
And she's, you know, she apologizes to Mary, and I feel for Mary because I believe that Mary thinks that this is it. This is done.
Yeah.
We are friends. And she says to Robert, we've made up. And it's not. We know what Jen's like. She's going to get off that stage and just go back to the hospital's smell.
Right. For sure. Because she can't let shit go.
No.
She's an angry little person.
And it's just exhausting to watch her in this.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have both worked for somebody who was also small in stature, but big in ideas and big in power in like the community where they were at. Still never spoke to me that way. I've never, ever been spoken to the way Jen has spoken to other people. I've never been spoken to that way in my life.
No, and he was probably the most vile person I've ever met in real life.
Yeah.
Never... And I saw him do some despicable things. Despicable
he was awful.
Things. But I agree, he never verbally abused people in that way. I think maybe because he was too smart, actually.
True.
You know, and I think it is an element of Jen. Sometimes she has a point, but her delivery is so terrible. Like at the end when she's talking about the word aggressive and women of color, and I can see what she is trying to say. But her delivery is not helpful. And
no, and I could see what she's trying to say if that wasn't her actual like if she wasn't actually doing those things.
So I agree, and I think it's just the semantics in this. So
for sure,
you can call her batshit crazy, angry, all of those things, but it is the word aggressive that's a trigger, and I get that. So it's. I think that's what she's trying to explain. She's like, call me all of these things, but that word is not okay.
Yeah,
we've talked about this on other podcasts
for sure. It's a really interesting thing though, because I've seen many other people kind of calling her out for that, because it's like, you were fucking aggressive. Like you have physically been trying to fight all these people. You've thrown water at people. You've thrown glasses. Like, so I've seen quite a few kind of Black influencers be like, actually, Jen, you're using it wrong. Like, you're saying you're not this way, but you have physically been attacking people, and that's not cool. Like, don't take.
And she's too angry to understand the subtleties of what's happening. Like, she's just lost in this tornado of rage that means that nothing makes sense. There's no link between one idea and the next, and it's just exhausting. And I think that she does need help. But I'd be so interested to know if this is something that's been triggered since this kind of trauma of her dad dying, or whether she's always been this way.
Or maybe this is her, like, just as a third theory, like, she got big for her boots being on this show, and like it's kind of ramped everything up to like 100, like maybe she feels she has to be so over the top, and I don't know, and maybe that's what spurred this on. And like, my discussion about like the aggression thing is not to like diminish her feelings at all about how like however she takes things is how she takes things, but when you're physically trying to fight people, that's not cool either.
No, it's not. Violence, being violent is not cool. And I think that's, I get it. I can call her violent. I can call her it's just, that is a word. The aggressive is a word that's been, that word. Call her anything else to describe her behavior, because that's not cool. But she does play into that, and she is giving people a reason to say that. And I'm not saying that
for sure
that other people aren't as well. Like, all sorts of people behave terribly. But she just doesn't see the subtleties and where it's coming. Then she goes off, has a chat with Coach Shah, comes back and says the kind of the right thing, which is, I get it. You don't understand. And it's like, Jen, you need to get there quicker and faster.
Right. That's what you just need to lead with. You need to lead with, I know you don't get it. I know you don't understand. We come from different places on this. This is where I'm coming from. This is why I react this way. That is a trigger for me. And I think that's the thing. Exactly. Like, she is yelling all the fucking time. And I mean, I'm a loud person. Like, I get it. But there is a difference. Like, you can be loud and not be yelling 100% of the time to everybody.
People don't yell and shout and scream like that and throw shit if they are happy and they're not dealing with some sort of shit. Like, I'm not making excuses for her behavior. That's just the reality. And I just hope that somebody gives her the help that she needs. And I don't mean that in a patronizing way. I mean, like, talk to somebody, babe. Like, figure this shit out.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see, because obviously they're filming season 2 right now. So she will be on season 2, but I don't know what the backlash for all of the audio stuff coming out will be. I know she's sent cease and desist letters to a few Instagram accounts, which is, come on, like, it's just ridiculous.
Just apologize. Like, just
right?
do the PR apology.
Own your shit and apologize. Move on.
Just do the PR apology. It's all you can do. It's done. Hurts.
But Jen can't do that. Jen cannot do that. And I think that's been the problem with all the women throughout, like, this whole thing, is like, she can't apologize and she can't forgive. She can't let shit go. Like, it just, it's all built up and it just,
it's exhausting. And I think, I think it's weird to me that Heather still sort of says, she's my best friend. I just think that's weird.
I don't
Heather
see
has
it.
real codependency issues.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, I mean, let's just talk about Heather next. Like, that's a good transition.
We'll switch those over. Let's move on to Heather, because she has such codependency issues, not just on Jen, but also on the church. I think also on her ex-husband.
Oh my God. Like, how shitty do people have to be to you? Like, it broke my heart. Like, all of these people are not worth your time, babe.
No,
like, you were a badass at work, growing this business, kicking fucking ass. Like, these no, you don't need them. It's
Walk
fine.
Away. You don't need the church. You don't need your ex-husband. You do not need Jen. She's more than enough on her own.
Yes.
But the thing is, in this situation, she becomes a version of her worst self, right? Like, awful in her discussions with Lisa, like when they broke and they still kept filming, and it's like, babe, if you can just let this shit go, it won't matter to you.
No. And I think it's like a self-confidence, like it's a
100%.
self-confidence thing. Like if she felt confident in herself, the shit like none of that shit would even bother her.
No,
Who cares
I
if Lisa
agree.
said you raised your top at a fucking party in college? Like you're
And I
not even
think as
Mormon
well,
anymore. Like it
I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
I raised a lot more than my top in
Yeah.
college, let me just tell you. But also, I think there's more to it than just insecurity. There's an element of indoctrination. Like
Yeah.
she, out of everybody, is so indoctrinated into this Mormon culture. Like, we saw it when she talked about how she'd rather be unhappily married
Yeah.
than divorced, because staying true to Mormonism, she's very triggered by her divorce, and clearly her divorce was the single most traumatic thing that's ever happened to her.
Well, and
And
very triggered by Lisa kind of
yeah,
flouting the rules of Mormonism that Heather was brought up with, which are the rules. Like the stuff that Lisa says is wrong
yeah.
from many
Because she
Mormon
made it
people that
sound
I
that
have
like
spoken
divorce
to.
was
Oh,
fine in
yeah.
Mormonism.
Yeah. Mormons are just real cool with things like drinking
I'm
and
going to
getting
Google that right now and
divorces.
see
I
what they
mean, they're
say.
100% not okay with it. We have some very good friends who left the Mormon church, and their parents would rather have them murdered somebody than leave the church. Like no joke.
I mean,
Because their thought process is if you've seen the light and they've intentionally turned away from the right way of thinking, which is apparently worse than murdering somebody. But anyways, I understand why Heather is very triggered by Lisa and Lisa's kind of flouting of, I don't know, trying to make Mormonism out to be like the new Methodists or the new Lutheran
but then
religion.
I agree, but then I also think that's not on Lisa, that's on Heather to assess. Like, it's fine for Lisa to think what she thinks. It's on Heather
Oh yeah,
to,
that's not what I mean. I didn't mean
yeah,
that Lisa needs to stop being who she is. Like Heather needs to just let it go.
have the confidence to just know that she owns something else and she believes something else. But also, I don't think it's healthy, those beliefs. I think we can see that it's so
Yeah.
damaging for her in so many ways. And I just want to give her a hug and take her out of Salt Lake City and bring her to London on the
Or
same.
literally anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, I want to bring her here and then I'd show her a good time.
Yeah. I mean, she knows how to have a good time. Like we've definitely seen clips of it and like her hooking up with that very hot man at
Super
what's her
hot
name's
man.
house.
But
Yeah.
also, I love that she did say that this, in this reunion, she sort of said that the show was transformative for her, and I think a little bit like Meredith and Seth said, the show forces you to confront stuff. You can't just brush it under the carpet. And I
Right.
think that happened to Heather, and I think that she's on a journey, and I think she is going to get there. She's in the right direction, but she's just not there yet. But she's going to have to undo decades
Yeah.
of indoctrination.
For sure. For sure. I mean, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere that she knows. And it's in her parent. It's everywhere.
I
And
want
I
her
think
to
that's
fall in
really
love
hard to understand when you've not been that
100%.
indoctrinated. I mean, you know,
No,
Christian religion is not that indoctrinated. So it's like it is
well,
what it
not in
is.
me, that's for
Not
sure.
in most people, but anyways, I really like Heather. I'm excited to see where she goes. I'd like to see a stronger Heather in season 2 and just someone who's not willing to put up with shit. It'd be nice.
Well, I think we will. And I'd like
Yeah.
to see her find somebody. I don't want him to be a Mormon. I want her
No.
to think outside the box. I want him to see the gem of a human that she is and encourage her to let go of the bullshit and
Yeah.
show her best self. Because we see it, it's there. She's strong. She's a badass. I want somebody to tell her that they love her for that.
Absolutely. Well, let's move on to Meredith since you brought up Meredith and Seth and
Interesting.
the show. Seth couldn't be there. He was telestreaming from Canton,
Well, I love
Ohio.
that they telestreamed him. I haven't seen them telestream any other missing husbands.
No, because they just left off husbands for the past few reunions. They just haven't had them
Well, Potomac
there.
recently had husbands, but we didn't
Yeah.
see Juan being telestreamed.
No, or Michael, thank God.
Or Michael, thank God. I mean, good Lord. Be careful what you wish for, Kat.
Right?
But I liked that they brought him in. And I think, I mean, I sort of alluded to it earlier, but throughout the season, I wasn't sure about Meredith. Like, I could
Yeah.
see a very strong moral compass in her, and I liked her open-mindedness and her willingness to not get sucked into gossip and drama. Like,
Yeah.
the way she says things is really patronizing. So that's do you know what I mean? Like, I like her vibe, but her delivery is really off-putting.
For sure. And actually, I think I warmed to her towards the end. And I think because she started showing a little bit more about herself, and we didn't have to see fucking Brooks anymore, which I still stand by. He's the most obnoxious reality kid that we've ever seen on the shows. No, you couldn't. Like, you could not have scripted a worse kid.
No.
And worse, I mean, he's not a bad kid, but like, he's a creepy kid. He freaks me out.
He's a pretty unlikable kid.
For sure.
Although he did see Jen's vagina, as it is revealed.
Fair.
Maybe that would scar me.
Maybe that's what's turned him. Yeah. I mean, I think he's probably just like any other 20-year-old kid with like a fashion designer mom. Like, maybe he's just very into that world and just desperately wants to be there, and everything that makes it kind of a shit world. But anyways, I have warmed to her. I would like her to come into season 2 maybe being more of herself. I feel like because of the stuff that was going on with Seth and the fact that she wasn't very open with the other ladies about it, there was a wall around her, you know, at the beginning. I think that wall eventually kind of started to come down, but I'd like to see more of who she actually is. I feel like there's a very contrived persona.
Well,
that's very controlled.
I wonder if Meredith kind of tried to do what we all sort of say, why don't they do this? Which is like, have boundaries.
Right.
And sort of say, do you know what I mean? We're why would you put that? I think she tried to do that. And then the reality is that you just can't do it like that.
No.
So I appreciated that. And I still think out of all of them, I really appreciate the way that she handles stuff. And she's very gracious and she doesn't get catty. Her accent is weird. I've now realized this. Like, it is odd.
Yeah.
But I thought it was, I liked her in this reunion, and I think that she stood up for herself and sort of didn't do that thing of needing to talk all the time. Just spoke when she had something to say.
Yeah, I think that's a nice lesson for all reality housewives to learn. Like, just speak when you have something to say, because if you don't, it doesn't fucking matter. Just screaming over everybody does not fucking work. I like how she engages with conflict, because I think when dealing with somebody like Jen, that's the only thing you can do is just be like, well, I'm disengaging. Like, this is not going to be purposeful or nice. Like, I think she's got that down, but yeah, I'd like to see more of her next season and kind of more.
Yeah, and it looked like Seth and her were doing okay.
Yeah, I think
so, because did you see that throwback picture that I put on Instagram?
Yes. They were a fit little couple.
Meredith still is fit.
For sure. I mean, women always age better.
Seth was really hot.
Yeah. I mean,
I think so much now.
Look, I mean, marriage is hard and having a bunch of kids is hard. And if you can fucking figure it out, just do whatever you need to do to make it work. Today is my 15th wedding anniversary. I know a little. Thank you. I know a little more than I did the first year, but I'm fucking learning daily. And it is a choice. It's a choice every single day on whether you're going to do it or not. And sometimes kids fuck up that choice sometimes and make it a little bit harder.
Do you ever look back? Because I do this a lot. Do you ever look back on the couple that you were walking down the aisle thinking, like, I know love. This is love. I know relationships. This is relationships. Da, da, da. And I look back on that baby little me and go, oh, sweetheart, you had no idea. Like, and it's like anything else. You can't possibly know until you go through it. Like, obviously I knew I loved him, but the love is different and it's better.
For sure. I mean, the love is definitely different. I was in single love with him, and I knew how our relationship worked as two single individuals. I didn't know how we worked as like a family unit, team. If that makes, yeah.
100%.
And I think we're learning that every day. Every day something new comes up that we have to learn and tackle. And actually, weirdly enough, we were just talking about this last night. So like we're going through that massive house remodel. We're all living in a basement right now, which is roughly the size of the house I grew up in. So I shouldn't fucking complain about it, but we're all on top of each other. And weirdly enough, it hasn't exacerbated bullshit. Like sometimes we actually work really well in this kind of situation versus just normal life. And it's like bringing this to normal life. That's our newest lesson that we've learned.
Well, and also we're like, because obviously in England here, it's a bit of a
Yeah.
segue, but we're about to start really opening up. Obviously we're doing
Right.
it slowly, but with vaccinations being so quick and stuff, it's going to start opening up. And I said to Jimmy, this is going to throw a whole new challenge to us, you know,
Yeah.
us being able to leave the house whenever we want and go out and do our thing. Because as much as the kids are back at school, we're still on lockdown. Like we're still
Right.
not going anywhere unless we're going for testing or the supermarket, so or a walk. But
Yeah.
but that in itself, and I think that's what I've learned, that it's
Yeah.
not just a thing that you've achieved. It's constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly being open and aware to like certain
Change.
pressure points and
For
change
sure.
and being gentle and trying
Yeah.
to foresee it as well, rather than like go,
right. What the fuck is happening? Well, and both growing as people. Cause I mean, damn, like I met my husband when I was 21 years old. I'm
fuck me
100% a different person going into, I'll be 40 in 2 weeks. I'm 100% a different person. And that's still kind of exciting. Kat and I are going to do a whole thing on it. I feel like I've gotten way off topic, but anyways, I like that Meredith and Seth are in a better place and have kind of worked through all their kids being grown and figuring out what their relationship looks like now. Like, I think that's a definitive turning point in any marriage once you stop being parents.
I agree. And I think it's accepting what marriage and what it actually is rather than what you have been told it should be.
Absolutely.
Accepting that, embracing it, and moving forward from that. And I think that's what Seth and Meredith have done. It's certainly what Jimmy and I have done.
Yeah.
It's what you and Elijah have done or doing and all of that stuff. So that's good to watch. I'm here for that. Now I know I'm fucking around with the system that we've.
That's all right.
We literally have. We had a line up and we've not stuck to it.
Well, because it flowed very organically. I just let it flow.
And we're professional enough that we can just roll with the changes.
There you go. We're learning.
But since we're doing Meredith, let's go on to Lisa, because Lisa professed ultimate friendship to me. I mean, those two still seem thick as thieves. Can't deny that Lisa seems very emotionally attached to Meredith and Seth. How do you feel
in a weird
about
way,
Lisa?
dude?
I know this. How do you feel about Lisa?
You know, there are times I've hated Lisa. There are times I've really liked Lisa. I felt like Lisa came into this reunion super fucking hot for no reason. Like, I have no idea what has changed between I mean, maybe it's the airing of the shows and seeing the ways and all this kind of stuff. But I felt like she was like overly invested in Meredith and Seth as a couple, because by all accounts, Seth has never really lived there. Like, I kind of don't, I mean, this may sound shitty. I kind of don't buy it. Like, I buy them being friends 100%. And I buy being invested in your friendship because you want your friend to be happy. But she seemed like overly invested in the fact that like she was very hurt that she did not know about all these struggles they were having.
So this is what's weird for me, because I agree. I don't buy this holier than thou, I'm so saintly, I can be friends with everybody and sit on the fence vibe. I think it's all about the Mormonism, and I think she wants to always project this perfect image.
Right.
So I don't buy it. But then I'm like, but at what point does like faking it become making it? Do you know what I mean? Like, at what point is she, even if I don't buy it, and even if I think that on the inside she's like a bag of boiling green slime, if outwardly she's always fairly tolerant and nice, even though it doesn't seem sincere, but that's how it goes, at what point do I just have to concede that she's an all right human? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it feels weird. Like,
I know.
It just doesn't read authentic or genuine. And I think that's the problem with it. Like, if you're trying to be something else, like, I get that, like, you're trying to be better, whatever, but like, that's not really who you are. That comes across.
Yeah.
And not even in a very obvious way. It just makes people feel icky around you. And it's like, I don't know why I don't like them, but there's something icky there. And it's weird.
Well, and I think this is the difference between Lisa and Meredith. The defensiveness of Lisa
Oh
always,
my
always
God.
flags something, right? There's
Yeah.
so much. Whereas Meredith is like completely not defensive. This is how I think, and I'm just gonna sit back. Like,
Yeah. I'm
you do
friends with
you,
who
I'll
I'm
do me.
friends with. I make
Right.
decisions about my husband the way I make those decisions. You either like it or you don't.
But somebody's pushing buttons in Lisa when they're
Yeah.
trying to call her out for something. And I think you're right. I think it's because it's not genuine. She knows it's not genuine. And
Yeah.
she's just really fucking good at at PRing herself.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what she does for a job.
Yeah.
You know, events and PR. So she definitely knows how to do it. But I don't know. She came off really weird during the reunion, which is a shame because actually towards the end of the season, I was really liking her. I like that, like, she had a stance against Jen for like stirring shit up because like that's the appropriate channel for that anger. I don't like that it's completely changed for the reunion for I don't even know why. I don't know.
I also have to say, and this is one of those moments where I'm not going to be very feminist, but I was very distracted by the terrible fake tan on her hands.
For real.
Right? It wasn't just me. It was really bad.
Oh yeah, and I've seen multiple memes. It was definitely not just you.
Oh, have
like,
you?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
good.
I mean, she's had like a whole orange line. Like,
It
you
was
use
really
a mitt.
bad.
I don't even self tan that much, and I know that. Like, come on.
I mean, I self tan all the time.
Yeah.
I just
But you use a mitt. Yeah.
No, I spray it on.
No.
I'm like, oh. But it's fine. But mine always works out. You find what works for you. Lisa, I love you. I don't really love you, but it didn't work for you. We need to find a new
I
thing.
think Lisa is probably used to getting professional spray tans, and she couldn't because of maybe she couldn't because of COVID, so she had to do it herself, and it went tits up. It's just unfortunate that it's on TV.
Yeah. So now I'll get back into raising women up.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lisa, I think is she's just a bit fake. I just don't buy her.
Yeah, I mean that's all it is. It's fucking fake, and I want my housewives to be genuinely crazy.
Yes.
Like, I don't like Ramona, but you know what? Ramona is who she is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'd either rather they were fake crazy than fake nice.
For sure. Kenya Moore. Don't really care for her, but you know what? She is who she is. Like, that is her authentic self. 100%. I think when someone is not being authentic, they are unwatchable, and that just makes it weird.
Yeah. But I think as well, she's not just being her. I think this is like 100% of the time for her. I don't think she's not her authentic self just for the show, because you see it. I think that she keeps up this facade all the time, cameras or no cameras.
Right. Ooh, that makes it even weirder.
The Mormons, because I think it's about the Mormons. It's for the Mormons. It's not for us.
It's for the Mormons.
For the Mormons. It's not for us. But I think that's the case.
Do you think that's why, like, I don't know. Because I always find her relationship with Heather is really fucking weird. Like, it's weird if you go to a small college and you pretend not to know somebody that you do know. Like, that's fucking weird.
Weird.
I don't know, man.
Also, I don't get it, because she wasn't always a Mormon, was she? Lisa?
I think she was. Well, I mean, if she went to BYU
when she was a kid, and then they became Mormon.
Yeah. But I mean, that's long enough.
That's true.
I mean, Scientology hasn't been around for very long, and those people are crazy.
Oh God, that's a whole other. Let's talk about Mary.
Speaking of crazy and religion.
I loved Mary in this reunion. I loved her. Fucking loved every minute of her.
Well, it's about damn time Mary shows up. Like, you know, I would have loved to see this more throughout the season. I don't want to see her sitting in that fucking hoarder closet with her cousin being a weirdo. Like,
I mean, she was still a weirdo, but she's kind of a lovable weirdo. This is the difference between her and Lisa.
She's kind of a snarky weirdo. I like it.
A very authentic weirdo.
Yeah.
And I still don't know whether I believe whether she's really, really smart or really, really crazy. It's somewhere between the two.
For sure.
But the way that she talks about her marriage, and she's like, listen, not every marriage is about this, that, and the other. Robert buys me Chanel. Like, looked at us as if we were all like,
how do you not get that?
Of course.
Right.
Yes. Like, we should all go, oh, that's your marriage. Oh, yeah, my marriage is a set. Like,
right.
It was so... But I also don't think there's no way in hell that she isn't scamming the shit out of that church. I'm just going to say it.
Hell no. She's 100% scamming the shit out of that church. She is so mean to them that they are fucking frightened as fuck of her, and they are going to give her all their money.
But also the way that she tries to, like, every time Robert Senior opens his mouth, and she's like, "Don't say that, say that." Blah, blah. Like, I think she's so like they're hiding something, and she doesn't want that shit to come out. There's no way,
no,
that she is not making a shit ton of money. Also, I didn't realize that she wasn't like the head chick. I didn't realize he was the pastor and she was the first lady.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she does more of the work. Like, I feel like she is the one getting up and doing the things.
That's because she's probably cooking the books.
She's a woman. Right. Well, or she's a woman. And, most religions are very, male forward.
True. But also, on a scale of 1 to abso-fucking-lutely, did she leave her first husband to marry Robert Sr. so that she could inherit a shit ton of money in a church?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
When she's like, "Oh no, but it wasn't. I didn't leave him to do that."
Was.
Oh yes, you did.
Yeah, Grandma got sick. You left the first husband because you knew what was coming.
You saw your opening. and I mean, listen, your mum doesn't speak to you anymore,
right?
And I can't help but think that's probably because you slid in, you stole her spot.
Right? She's like, motherfucker! Like, I've been dealing with my mom's shit for ages. I deserve that money, and. Nope, she just took it and ran with it and verbally berates everybody into giving more money. No, not at all. And he's so weird too. Like,
it's so weird. The whole thing's weird. I mean, I'm here for any kind of, like, I don't think there's a kind of relationship or a kind of marriage. No. Nothing's right or wrong, like, if it works for you. But I think that you have to be aware of the people that you trample along the way to get there. Like the fact that she has her aunt, like her family cleaning her house.
Yeah. I did that for my dad one summer. That was about as long
very
as it
different.
Last.
It's very different if you get like your kid to clean
your
house.
I was paid
to
too.
Pay them some shit. And I'm sure.
Right.
I mean, she's like, I pay for their mortgage.
Yeah. They have a tiny house. They like being at my big house. Oh, fuck off. Nobody likes cleaning your shit. Nobody likes that.
If I'm a multimillionaire and I'm paying for my family's mortgage, first of all, why do they have such a tiny house that they'd rather not be there, that they want to be in my house? Also, you don't do it and say, I'm only doing this if you come and clean my fucking house.
Oh, it's like, man. That's not how such a weird, family. Dark, creepy
There's
situation.
Some weird shit going on.
It is a weird, it's a weird family dynamic. And whose family? Is it her family? Is it his family?
I don't know.
Is it all one family? Who knows?
It's too much for me to think about. But even all of that shady shit aside, there is something very watchable and likable about Mary in a weird kind of way.
For sure.
I wouldn't want to be near her in any way, shape, or form. But she's fascinating.
Yeah, she is. She is.
Let's finish with Whitney. Who,
God
bless her soul, is like just out of her depth feels out of her depth, but actually I think she's going to make it through.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. Like, I feel, and maybe it's because we saw her with the Vanderpump Rules girls, and I'm like, I think she needs to be on a show like that. But she's deeper than they are. Like, she is a mom and she has been through some shit, and she is really caring for a parent who, in all my guesses, was never really a parent to her, because obviously, like, dealing with addiction and things like that. But she is not ready to, like, take some of these ladies on.
Well, and I think as well, it's really interesting because often kids that grow up in that kind of toxic environment of addiction or neglect or nasty divorce, whatever, have this real sense of impenetrability, right? They don't want to be vulnerable and they really struggle. She's not that person. So whatever she went through as a kid, and I have no doubt it sounds like it was awful and very difficult, she still maintained this gentleness that I really, really appreciate. And I think
she's vulnerable and open. Like, I think she genuinely wants to be friends with people. I don't think she ever in her heart was trying to genuinely fuck people over or anything like that. I think all of her questions were genuine questions, but people aren't used to people being like open, direct, and vulnerable. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Jen thought she
Totally.
was starting shit because that's what Jen would do. Not, I'm generally your friend, and it bothers me when people say people are talking about you like this. So,
Well, and I think that's why Lisa finds her so hard, because Whitney is genuinely a good person.
Yeah.
And Lisa sees that reflection back and is like, that's not me, but that's what I want to be. And so she's constantly bringing her down. And Whitney's right. Lisa has tried to undermine her and make her feel small every single step of the way and judge her. And, I think I want Whitney to stay on because I think that she lends another dimension to this whole dynamic.
For sure. Well, and I also think she's good for Heather as well. Like, I think Heather needs somebody that really gets where Heather's coming from. And, while Lisa has been a Mormon for, I guess, a minute, Heather's family is very, very deep into Mormonism. I mean, like, they were like original members.
Founding fathers.
Yeah, they're like OG Mormons. So I think she needs somebody that like gets that and understands like the struggles that she's facing. And I think Whitney does, because I feel like they're cousins. I mean, that doesn't mean a lot in the Mormon church because their families are so massive, but I think it's good for Heather to have someone that really gets where she's coming from up there and how hard it is for Heather to leave, even though Whitney had to leave as well. So
no, I agree. Well, listen, we know that they are filming season 2. We don't know if Jen Shah's going to finish the season because the allegations have been. I mean, if these allegations had come out, I've no doubt she wouldn't have started the season. If they come out earlier.
But I wonder if they'll pull her. I don't know if they've done that before. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like they haven't pulled anybody mid-season before, but could always be a first.
They pulled what's his chops. They edited him out on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Pete.
Fair.
What's his chops?
Yeah, that's true. Pete Hunsinger. I mean, it's not the same. That's his name. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't like I don't know. Anyways, we'll see. But it's exciting to look forward to season 2. I'm here for it. I'm way more here for it than I am another season of the OC the way it is now.
Me too.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's it for me. I'm going to go and watch Dallas and New Jersey for tomorrow's recording of
Excellent
podcast.
I caned it this morning. I'm going to enjoy I've got an hour and 15 minutes before kids pick up. So I may end up going to Costco. Good times.
We have an hour and 15 minutes before
kids. It's 1:30.
Oh, because it's 7. We're doing it later. Forgive me. Well, listen.
All right, guys.
Before we go though, can you just show everybody who's watching on YouTube, the 2 people that subscribe, your amazing coat that you
my cloak of non-productivity.
This is what she calls it her cloak of non-productivity, because as soon as she puts it on, it's so comfy and warm that she doesn't want to do anything. Look at that. It's like
massive blanket.
It's like
fleece, and it's got a hoodie.
It's like a lumberjack had a baby with Big Bird.
It's like if Hogwarts was a woodcutting school, this is what they would all have to wear because there was no heating in the castle.
It's so true. And if you're not watching this on YouTube and you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, then you should, because it adds a whole other dimension.
It really does. You get to see us, as close to in person as you can.
As well.
Yeah, it's really not edited at all because I do them. So
I know. Reagan's such a fucking superstar. Listen, thank you so much for giving us your time again. We love doing this, and we hope that you are. I mean, I'm losing my words. Yeah, I'm so tired. But thank you, and we will see you soon. And remember,
smart people watch reality TV too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Please subscribe, rate, and review TV My Husband Hates wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at TV My Husband Hates, and join the Facebook group to keep the conversation going when the podcast ends. If Twitter's your thing, you'll find us at TV Husbands Hate. Theme music and production for TV My Husband Hates by Jimmy Sims.